The India-Pakistan conflict has once again returned to global headlines in 2025. Decades of mistrust, border disputes, and proxy wars have shaped the region, but the most recent flare-up has pushed both nations to the brink of full-scale war. This is a comprehensive look at what led to the recent escalation, what unfolded on the ground, and what it means for the future of South Asia and the world. Chapter 1. The Spark. The Pahalgam Attack. It all began on April 22, 2025, in the scenic town of Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir. A deadly terrorist attack during a religious pilgrimage killed 28 civilians and injured over 50 more. The Indian government immediately blamed the Pakistan-based terror group Jaish-e-Mohammed, which has a long history of operating in the region. This wasn't the first time civilians were targeted, but the scale and timing of the attack during peak tourism season shocked the nation. Within hours, Prime Minister Narendra Modi vowed a decisive and proportionate response. Chapter 2. Operation Sindoor. India's retaliation. Just 2 weeks after the attack on May 7th, India launched Operation Sindoor, a series of precision airstrikes across the Line of Control, LOC, and into Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Targets included terror training camps, weapons depots, and communication centers linked to Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. Indian Air Force officials claimed the mission was highly successful, eliminating over 100 militants and several high-value targets. However, Pakistan reported civilian casualties and condemned the operation as a blatant violation of its sovereignty. Chapter 3. Pakistan responds, air power and escalation. Within 24 hours, Pakistan retaliated. Fighter jets crossed into Indian airspace in retaliation, sparking one of the largest aerial dogfights between the two countries since the 2019 Balakot strike. Over 125 aircraft were reportedly deployed between the two nations. Pakistan claimed to have shot down at least 2 Indian Rafale jets, considered among the most advanced in India's arsenal, using its Chinese-made J-10C fighters. India disputed the claims, admitting only 1 aircraft loss and confirming that a Pakistani F-16 was downed in return. Chapter 4. The Role of Technology, Drones and Cyber Warfare. This was also a war of technology. Indian drones, including Israeli-made Harop loitering munitions, were used to gather intelligence and target militant hideouts. Pakistan claimed to have shot down several of these UAVs and also deployed its indigenous drone fleet. But the fight wasn't only in the skies. A parallel cyber and disinformation battle was raging online. Both countries used social media to spread conflicting narratives, images, and proof of victories. Fact-checkers were overwhelmed. Misinformation fueled panic among civilians on both sides of the border. Chapter 5. Civilian Impact and Border Clashes. On the ground, cross-border shelling intensified in border areas like Poonch, Rajouri, and Kupwara. Dozens of civilians were killed and thousands were displaced. Schools shut down and emergency shelters were opened in northern Indian and eastern Pakistani towns. Social media was flooded with disturbing videos of people fleeing with their belongings under fire. Markets across both countries tumbled, and border towns saw a sharp shortage of essential supplies. War rhetoric filled the airwaves, and national pride surged amid growing fear. Chapter 6. Global Reaction. Diplomacy at work. The global response was swift. The United States, through former President Donald Trump, who remains a highly influential figure, offered to mediate, while the United Nations and European Union called for immediate de-escalation. After 5 tense days of back-channel diplomacy, hotline communications between the Indian and Pakistani military commands resumed. By May 10th, both sides agreed to a ceasefire, though sporadic gunfire was still reported in some areas even after the announcement. Pakistan praised the U.S. for helping bring both sides to the table. India, meanwhile, maintained that the ceasefire was a direct result of its military dominance and firm diplomatic posture. Chapter 7. The Aftermath. What now? Although a ceasefire is in place, the situation remains fragile. Both nations have put their militaries on high alert. India has called for international action against terror groups operating from Pakistani soil. Pakistan insists it had no role in the Pahalgam attack and accuses India of using it as a pretext for aggression, The conflict has reignited debates about Kashmir, nuclear deterrence, and the risk of future escalations. It's also sparked discussions about the effectiveness of military retaliation versus long-term diplomacy. The world watches closely as South Asia teeters between uneasy peace and potential catastrophe. Conclusion: the 2025 India-Pakistan conflict reminds us how quickly old wounds can reopen and how modern warfare, fought not just with weapons, but also with drones, data, and digital narratives, adds new layers of complexity to age-old disputes. The path forward demands restraint, clarity, and above all, a genuine commitment to peace. For the millions living near the border, the stakes are not just political, they're personal, immediate, and life-defining. Stay tuned for more updates as this story continues to develop.